Hi, this is Krista at The Secret Yarnery. Today we are making this gorgeous 12 Days of Christmas Advent Calendar. You can make this adorable Advent Calendar just for the last 12 days of Christmas, so you're not too late. The written pattern also comes with this printout where you can just cut out these cute little presents that fit into the last 12 days before Christmas. So a cute and easy little countdown if you don't want to put in sweets or little presents. You can just do an actual countdown included in the written pattern. Speaking of written patterns, all my patterns are available on my website, secretyarnery.com, and you don't have to worry about being able to read a pattern. All of my patterns are written in plain English, just like I was sitting there right beside you. If English isn't your first language, go ahead and click on this gear right here so you can scroll through and find your preferred dialect. All you need to make your advent calendar is 4 different colors of yarn. I am using, or any colors at all. You could make them all in one color if you preferred. I did it with 4 different colors. So 3 colors and a neutral, each stocking just featuring 1 different color for your center row, for row number 2. But you could do them any which way you want. I am using size 4 worsted weight acrylic yarn, which is a 10 ply if you are in Australia, just regular acrylic. And I'm also using a 5.5 millimeter crochet hook. I do all my Christmas projects with the green hook, so I know what color it is. It is a Christmas color green hook, but you could use a 5 millimeter or a 6 millimeter, whatever you have on hand. And you'll also need a needle for sewing in a couple ends, and a stitch marker is very handy, plus 1 pair of scissors. Here are the timestamps. You can jump back into where you left off, and let's get started. To start your 12 Days of Christmas Advent Calendar, we're just going to start by making a slip knot and a chain 3. So make your slip knot and chain 3, 1, 2, and 3. And we're going to go into that very first chain we made to form a ring. So right into that first chain, right on top of our slip knot. So just pop your hook in. It doesn't matter how many strands you have on the top of your hook. And then get a little U shape going on underneath your hook. We want to be holding that open with our finger and thumb. And we want to be working over our tail. So just get your tail along with that U shape and hold it open with your finger and thumb. Slip stitch to form a ring and chain 3. 1, 2, and 3. So this counts as our first double crochet. Wrap your yarn and make 1 more double crochet right where you're holding it open with your finger and thumb. And then you can let go of it a little bit. That'll hold it open. And chain 2. 1 and 2. Now into the center of that ring, going over your tail, 2 double crochets. 1 and 2. Chain 2, 1 and 2, and 2 more double crochets into the center of your ring going over your tail. 1 and 2. Chain 2 and 2 more double crochets. We want a total of 6 pairs. So there's 2, chain 2, 1 and 2. Slide those stitches back if you need some more room. And 2 more double crochets into the center of your ring. 1 and 2. Chain 2, and we're going to make our last 2 double crochets. So slide all those stitches back. We'll have 5 pairs right now. We want to have a total of 6 pairs. Still working over our tail. 2 more double crochets into the center of our ring. There is 1 and 2. Chain 2, and we're going to slip stitch into the top of that chain 3 to join. We're going to slip stitch right here. And we want 2 strands of that chain on the top of our hook, just like that. So slip stitch to join, and chain 1 to secure your yarn. Cut your yarn, leaving a long enough tail. Pull your hook up and your yarn through, and snug that down to secure. And that finishes round 1. To start round 2, we're just going to be working into our spaces. So just find a space that is not where our tail is. So I'm just going to join into the space before. Just pop your hook in, loop of your new color yarn on your hook, bring it through and slip stitch with both strands to join. Just check that your tail is long enough to sew in or not later. And chain 2. 1 and 2. This counts as our first double crochet. Wrap your yarn and into the same space. I'm just holding my tail along the edge of my work so I can work over it. We're going to do 2 double crochets. 1 and 2. Whenever you get to your tail, you can just bring your tail forward so we can work over it. And we're going to do 3 treble crochets. So wrap your yarn twice and into the next space, 3 treble crochets. 1, 2, and 3. Chain 2. And 3 double crochets into the same space. There is 1, 2, and 3. Now into each of the next 4 spaces. All of these spaces, we're going to be doing the same thing. So 3 double crochets, chain 2, and 3 double crochets. So wrap your yarn, 3 double crochets, chain 2, and 3 double crochets into that same space. 1, 2, and 3. So we're going to do that into each of the next empty spaces. So each of those spaces, we're going to be doing the same thing. So 3 double crochets, 1, 2, 3, chain 2, and 3 double crochets into that same space. 1, 2, and 3. So you can pause the video and do that into each of the next 2 spaces, 3 double crochets, chain 2, and 3 double crochets. And I will meet you when we get to this space where we started. Into that space where we started, I'm just going to slide those stitches ahead so I have some more chain to work on directly. I want all my stitches laying nice and flat side by side. We're going to do 3 treble crochets. So wrap your yarn twice and 3 treble crochets into that same space where we started. There is 1, 2, and 3, chain 2, 1 and 2, and now we're going to slip stitch into the top of that chain 3 to join. So we're going to slip stitch right here. So 2 strands of that chain on the top of your hook and slip stitch to join, chain 1 to secure your yarn, cut your yarn, leaving a long enough tail to knot or sew in later. Snug that down. And now we're going to pop a stitch marker right into this space here. Just that center space. Grab a stitch marker and pop your stitch marker in. That is going to mark the top of our stocking or the top of our little booty. So there is our stitch marker right in that space right there. So that finishes round 2. Don't worry if your booty is all kind of wavy, it is supposed to be. So just pop your hook into that very same space where we finished at the top of our stocking, right here. And loop of your next color on your hook. Bring it through and slip stitch with both strands to join and drop your tail. And chain 2. 1 and 2. Make 2 more double crochets into this same space. 1 and 2. Now into our center space where our stitch marker is, we're going to do 4 double crochets. So this is the top center of our stocking. So 4 double crochets into this space. There's 2, 3, and 4. And into the corner space, we're going to do 3 double crochets, chain 2, and 3 treble crochets. So 3 double crochets to start. 1, 2, and 3. Chain 2, and 3 treble crochets into the same space. There's 2, and here is 3. Into this space along the side, this flat side, we're going to do 3 double crochets. 1, 2, and 3. And into our corner, into that corner space, we're going to do a bend. So bends are 4 double crochets. So 4 double crochets into this corner space. There's 2, 3, and 4. Into the next space along the side, 3 double crochets. 1, 2, and 3. And into the corner space, right there, we're going to do a bend, so 4 double crochets into the corner space. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Into the space along the side, that flat side, 3 double crochets into this space. And remember, you can pause the video or use that gear to speed me up or slow me down. And into our corner, that corner space, we are going to be doing a bend, so 4 double crochets. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Into the space along the side, right there, we're going to be doing a side, so 3 double crochets. 1, 2, and 3. And into the corner space, 4 double crochets. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Into the next space along the side, 3 double crochets. 1, 2, and 3. And into the space where we started, 3 treble crochets. So wrap your yarn twice and 3 treble crochets into the very same space where we started. 1, 2, and 3. Now into the top of our chain 3, right here, we're going to do 1 double crochet into the top of the chain 3. So same spot where we would be slip stitching. We want 2 strands of that chain on the top of our hook. We're going to make 1 double crochet. And that ends us right along the side of our stocking, just like that. So that finishes round 3. But before we get going to the next round, to joining it, we want to turn it over. We want to knot our tails. So our tails are pretty much in the same areas, these guys right there. So we're just going to knot them. So double knot. You, of course, can sew them in if you prefer. So I do a loose knot first, then a tighter one, and then the third time I really pull it. Sometimes if you pull it just after you've knotted it twice, it can shrink up. And then you can just cut those tails off really nice and close. So one loose knot, one more snug, and then the third time you really can pull it. If you're using a natural fiber, maybe sew in your ends, can't pull it as much as you can pull acrylic. Just like that. So there's our tails done. Easier to do it now so we can see it nice and easier instead of having to inside out our tiny little stocking later. We can pop out our stitch marker as well. To start round 4, you can see we have a little Levi's jeans pocket, a little pocket shape. We are going to fold that in half, just like that. Get a cute little booty. And pull your hook up to get a bigger loop. We want to take our hook out for a second, and we're going to turn it over. So our working yarn is at the back of our stocking. We're going to be working along this edge just to close up our stocking. So into this corner space at the top of our booty and into the corner space at the bottom of our boot, just like that. Get that loop of yarn back on your hook. Bring it through and slip stitch. So that starts our join. We have one little join now at the top of our stocking. Chain 1. Now into this same corner space of both stockings, we're going to make 1 single crochet, chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and 1 more single crochet into that same corner space of both of our stockings right there. Now wiggle your finger in between the spaces, or in between the space of both sides. So we have our 3 stitches before, and we want to go in to the first stitch of each side. So there is the first stitch of the first side and the first stitch of the second side. 1 single crochet. And I just keep my finger through both so it keeps those stitches lined up. And now 1 single crochet into both stitches, just to join them up along the side, just like that. And then wiggle your finger into the space after the next set of 3, and 1 single crochet into each pair. 1, 2, and 3. Now at our bend, we are going to do 1 single crochet into the first pair, 1 single crochet into the second pair, and chaining 1. That's just going to give us a little space to get around our heel. And now 1 single crochet into each pair all the way along until we get to the toe. So just take your time, line up your stitches, 1 single crochet into each. When we get to this bend right here, we're going to do 1 single crochet into each of the first 2 pairs. So the first and the second each get a single crochet. Chain 1 to give us a little more space, and now we can just finish off our stocking. 1 single crochet into each pair all the way along. Our last single crochet is right here. Chain 1 to secure your yarn. Cut your yarn. This one we're going to have to sew in, so leave it long enough to use a needle. Pull your hook up and your yarn through, snug that down to secure, and sew in this tail. There is your cute little stocking. So adorable. Go ahead and make 11 more. Now when all of your 12 stockings are finished, we are ready to assemble. If you are using different colors, then just go ahead and get them in an order that you like. To start assembling, we are going to do a chain 15. So make a slip knot any which way you normally do. Shrink that down and pop it onto your hook and chain 15. 1, 2, 3, 14, and 15. And now into that very first chain, we're just going to slip stitch to form a ring. This is where we're going to be hanging our bunting from. So there is our 15, and now chain 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Just kind of like this little looking glass or little lasso. Grab your first stocking, and this stocking is going to be on the right side if you're right-handed, or the left side if you are left-handed, if it matters what colors are where or what you're starting with. This first stocking will be the end of your bunting if you are looking at your bunting like you're reading a book. So into that chain 3 space at the top of our stocking, just pop your hook in and make 1 single crochet, chain 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Grab your next stocking, find that chain 3 space, pop your hook in and 1 single crochet, and chain 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Grab your next stocking, and into that space at the top, that little loop we made, 1 single crochet to join, and chain 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So now you can pause the video and keep working along, joining all of your stockings in this same way. A chain 8 and a single crochet into the loop to join. And I'll meet you when you are all joined up. Once all of your stockings are joined, we are ready to do another little lasso or looking glass on the other side so we can hang both ends of our bunting. So chain 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Pop a stitch marker into that 8th chain. And chain 15. 1, 2, 3, 14, and 15. Now we want to slip stitch right into that stitch that has the stitch marker. So just pop your hook in. It doesn't matter how many strands on your hook. Pop your hook in and slip stitch. And chain 1. Cut your yarn and pull your hook up and your yarn through. Snug that down to secure. Now we can pop our stitch marker out and sew in our 2 tails. If you enjoyed this tutorial, go ahead and check out that playlist right there. Stay hooked!